for a search engine optimization analytics company, and I got both of their insights for some insider information for this presentation. So I think that the impact of social media, the impact that it has on our lives today, is pretty undeniable. Social media usage is at an all-time high with over 4 billion users globally, and that number is only expected to grow from year to year. The social media app market was recently valued at over $49 billion, and it's on pace to exceed that this year. And Facebook continues to remain, one of the most active platforms with over 2.9 million active users monthly. The average American is noted to spend about 127 minutes a day on social media, and on average, they access 6 to 7 platforms per month. The majority of the content being consumed nowadays is in short video format, with 78% of users accessing social media solely via their phone. Here's a figure that just kind of recaps the monthly active users on social media platforms, and I want to note that this is in millions. So Facebook, 2.9 million active users a month. YouTube, close behind with 2.5 million active users a month. You can see that, Instagram and TikTok follow closely behind. And we can see that people of all ages are consumers of social media, with almost half of people aged 65 and up, noting that they actively use at least one social media platform a month. Advertising in social media continues to grow at a staggering rate. TikTok posted ad revenue earnings of $350 million in the fourth quarter of last year, and this exceeded the combined ad revenue of Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and Snapchat. Social media as a whole overtook paid search as an advertising channel with over $137 billion of revenue, which is fascinating to see that it's outpacing the rates of Google and Bing. And a recent survey showed that business owners are reallocating their advertising budgets to focus more on social media, including sites like Facebook and Instagram. So, what is search engine optimization? So search engine optimization is the way to identify your target audience and help expose them to your brand through search as we've come to know it. So potential clients or patients are looking for something on the internet, and you want them to find what you have to offer. So I think we're most familiar with Google and Bing. Google, continues to have the majority of the global market share at 85%, but they cover 95% of the mobile search traffic. And so it's important that we understand how a search engine ranks its results, given that 95% of search users will not click past the first page when they're actively looking for something. So search engines use hundreds of proprietary factors in their algorithms to rank websites. And while they don't release that information willingly, we know through some leaked information over the last couple of years, what are some of the main drivers. Especially with Google, we were able to learn that Google's top 3 drivers for search ranking are content, links, and engagement. So content is more or less what we put on our website. And Google's goal is to reward websites that offer unique and high quality content. Now, there are exceptions to the technical specialties, specifically medicine. Google has a directive called Your Money or Your Life, and it places a special emphasis on what they refer to as EEAT, and that stands for expertise, experience, authoritativeness, and trustworthiness. And this applies to medical content and holds it to a higher standard. So they look at basic things such as grammar, spelling errors, and misinformation, a lack of references or resources. But they also look at additional things like length of information, with the understanding that a complicated topic can require more detail to explain. So if you look at some of the metrics, the average word count of the websites that come up on page 1 have an average word count of about 2,000 words to them. It also values the role or the use of more technical keywords or medical terms compared to generic ones. And one factor that they place a lot of emphasis on, which is sometimes counterintuitive, is links to additional or other websites. and especially websites that Google has already highly valued. The idea is that you're confident enough that your content can stand up against an already well-vetted website. And the fact that you are linking out to those other websites in turn strengthens the way that Google ranks your website. Links is another important factor. Google considers a link to be a vote of confidence from one website to another. The industry term here is backlinking. So having links from a reputable site that are looking at your site or linking to your site helps to hold a higher weight. The links don't necessarily need to be clicked on, but if a link to your website or your content exists on a well-vetted page, that in turn is going to boost the ranking that you get through a search engine like Google. And the other is engagement. And there are many ways that websites or search engines look at engagement. Google specifically has an AI called the Rank Brain, which works to adjust their algorithm based off of how people engage with search results. But they look at metrics like the click-through rate, which is the percentage of people that actually click on the link to your website after reading the short blurb under the search results tab. Or things like the click back rate, how many people click back to the search as opposed to clicking forward into your website to discover more. Time on page and the amount of people that come back are all things that we believe get factored into the way that the websites get ranked. And while Google specifically does not say that social signals and overall ad budget improves their ranking criteria, there are several studies that have indicated that there's certainly a strong correlation. Geographic information also plays a role. When people include terms like in my area or near me in their search result, this narrows the field, and you want to be able to take advantage of that for your practice in a much smaller search pool. The most important thing that you can do is to make sure that your NAP is up to date, and that stands for your name, address, and phone number. So a search engine will cross-reference this information across multiple databases and look for discrepancies. And if they find them, you'll get ranked lower. Additional information such as your hours of operation, pictures of your building, embedded map links are also helpful, as are ratings and reviews through third-party websites like Yelp, Google Reviews, and the various health-related review websites. So now we're going to talk a little bit how social media intersects with search engine optimization and how things come together. So social media is a way that you can help to increase the amount of organic traffic to your website outside of the traditional search. So creative and engaging content draws people in and introduces them to your brand. This content is easily shareable given the app-based platform. Sharing then increases your brand's exposure and visibility, and your community can grow at an exponential rate. This in turn increases the amount of backlinking or referencing to your website, which then increases how you're ranking files under the search engine or search results. Social media also employs different algorithms with how they promote content relative to its users. People don't necessarily need to be searching for your brand or something related to your brand in order to come across it. But once it's discovered, you want to be able to take advantage of that. Choosing the right platform is certainly important. You want to pick a platform that's aligned with your brand and your audience's goals and the audience you're trying to capture. Here you can see that while Facebook remains one of the most used platforms, Instagram and TikTok have a higher percentage of people opening the app every day, and TikTok and YouTube have a greater portion of time spent in the app. Demographics also play a very important role. Depending on your practice, you may want to be targeting patients of an older demographic, and you can see that there are clear trends for older demographics in terms of who are actively using Facebook and YouTube. These different platforms allow for different types of content, and you should spend time creating content that is most suited for that platform and therefore the demographic that you're trying to target. Creating a strong profile is the main way that people are going to recognize your brand. You should have relevant and quality pictures, and your bio should be short and succinct. should include relevant keywords that can be targeted for search engine optimization. And you should also try to include a personal touch, things that differentiate your brand from others so that your consumers can try to connect to you. This can be accomplished by things like focusing on lifestyle, hobbies, and humor. The goal should be to engage your audience. The general rule of marketing is to compel your audience in an emotional way to get them to buy into your product. This can be done by creating posts that encourage conversations or ask for feedback. Honest video reactions where you give your opinion in response to popular trends or news articles is a common way. And you want to try to build a community around your brand. This in turn, once you've employed these strategies, the consumers will become your advocates. They'll share your content and information and increase your brand visibility. They'll share it with their friends and family and hopefully drive more traffic to your websites. Utilizing hashtags, we're going to talk about that a little bit later in our talk this evening. But in general, hashtags let you characterize your content in a way so that anyone who's interested in that topic can more easily find it. And this doesn't have to be difficult. There are lots of free online resources that you can use in order to do that. Here I quickly typed in a description for spine surgery with some keywords, deformity and minimally invasive. And this quickly generated a list that I can use to tag a video with. Social media influencing is a market that continues to grow, with the industry spending over billions of dollars on content creation. Studies have shown that millennial users place more faith in product recommendations coming from influencers than they do now from their older favorite celebrities. And this really comes down to the idea of authenticity, feeling that the social media influencer is giving you relatable and sincere account of a brand or product. You want to utilize cross-platform promotion. As I mentioned earlier, the average user accesses multiple platforms per month. And this is something that is easily done nowadays with links out and shareable buttons. And obviously, you want to stay up to date with current trends in social media. Viral trends are effective due to hashtags, and they allow for an expanded reach to your audience. So in conclusion, I think it's important to understand how search engine optimization allows for increased organic traffic to your website. And social media remains a powerful tool, which we can now integrate into search engine optimization strategies to expand our brand's reach and then ultimately expand the reputation and build partnerships and connects with potential patients or clients. When used effectively, this is a much more powerful tool and is often a cheaper option compared to the traditional paid advertising that people utilized in the past. So with that, I'd just like to say thank you for your time this evening. I'd like to thank the members of the NASA leadership for inviting me to talk, and I look forward to seeing everybody